Yeah, I just want to say it is so not my night, but all right. I am wondering, did this bit of writerly news come to your attention a couple of years ago? Or maybe I should say, can anyone even remember anything else that happened in 2016? Let's go back past November to March. The novelist and poet Jim Harrison passed away in March 2016 at the age of 78. Harrison sometimes worked as a screenwriter here in Los Angeles, mostly adapting the novels and novellas that he had written and hanging out with pals like Jack Nicholson, Bill Murray, John Huston. The New York Times obituary for Jim Harrison says that in his writing, Harrison, with ardent abandon, explored the natural world, the life of the mind, and the pleasures of the flesh. Obviously, some of that ardent abandon spilled over into his life. Jim Harrison once described having dinner with Orson Welles, in which they shared a half-pound of beluga caviar with a bottle of Stolchnaya, a whole salmon and sorrel sauce, sweetbreads en croûte, a miniature leg of lamb, the whole thing, with 5 wines, desserts, cheeses, ports, and a chaser of cocaine. For many years beside my writing desk, I've had a quote from Harrison taped to the wall, a quote about writing that gives us permission not to be cool as we write, to not protect ourselves from feeling what we feel, and to not protect the audience either. He says, "I like grit, I like love and death. I'm tired of irony." As we know from the Russians, a lot of good fiction is sentimental. The novelist who refuses sentiment refuses the full spectrum of human behavior, and then he just dries up. I would rather give full vent to human love and disappointments and take a chance on being corny than die a smartass. I've been involved with the Academy Nicholl Fellowship competition for over a decade now, and one thing I've noticed is the scripts that rise to the top of the pile usually aren't that cool. Usually there's something fairly raw in the work, something hard to say, something uncomfortably true, a subject that's a little impolite or unwanted that nonetheless needs to be said. And I promise you, this committee does not set out with a specific goal to end up with 10 scripts that would please Jim Harrison. But we do have guidelines that I think tip the Nicholl Fellowship towards stories that have meaning. We ask of ourselves, does the story have an original premise? Does this script make you feel that the writer is taking you on a journey? Does the story connect with you emotionally, whether it's a comedy or a drama or another genre? Does the writer have a distinctive and original voice? Or do you feel that you've seen this movie before? Does the story have vivid characters who each speak in their own voice? Do you want to know what happens to them? Does the story propel you forward? And do your main characters take the actions that propel the story? Are the themes of the story thought-provoking across genres? Is this story about something that might provoke a discussion? When you finish reading the script, even if it has flaws, do you still feel that there's something special about it? Even if it has flaws is the key phrase. When our committee convenes, we aren't looking for perfect scripts. Craft, yes. Perfection, absolutely not. We're not even really seeking scripts. We're seeking interesting writers. Talented people who may not yet have nailed every aspect of screenwriting, but who have something that they absolutely have to say. We're looking for writers who make us feel they can't be silenced, who have something on their minds, who won't settle in comfortably into a commercial field of cookie-cutter entertainments, but who will keep bringing up the important subjects, the uncool emotions, the stories that encompass the full spectrum of all human behavior. Rewriting can always improve a script that isn't yet perfect. but nothing you learn in film school supplies the essential qualities of soul and heart and courage and daring that made this year's screenplays rise to the top of the Nicholl Fellowship competition. So if you're writing right now, dig deep. This year, our Nicholl Committee read 6,895 screenplays, which through multiple readings were narrowed down to 349 quarterfinalists, out of which rose 151 semifinalists. The semifinalist scripts were read by members of the Academy across all branches, again, multiple times. When we had 10 finalists, our committee met for several hours, discussing all 10 writers, and at the end of a long, impassioned meeting that involved neither beluga caviar nor cocaine, we settled on 4 winning entries, 3 individual writers, plus 1 writing team. I'm going to ask Jennifer Nelson to introduce those writers to you. Jennifer is a talented and highly valued part of the Nicholl Committee. She's a member of the Short Film and Animation branch. She directed Kung Fu Panda and Kung Fu Panda 2, for which she was nominated for an Oscar. She's only the second woman who's ever been nominated for an animation Oscar. This year, she directed the live-action film The Darkest Mind, and she has directed tonight's live reading of scenes from the Academy Nicholl Fellowship Screenplays for 2018. Please welcome Jennifer Yu Nelson.